What's up, guys? Hi, welcome to day 2 of the road to 140 kilogram bench press. Today was a back and biceps day, aka a pull day, as I put in the title. And one thing that I know for certain is the body weight I need to achieve and the level of bulk that I need to do to hit that 140 kilogram bench press is going to be crazy. I'm going to be well past 95 kilos in body weight by the end of this bulk. And I know, sure as hell, that if I'm going to get to those kind of body weights, I'm going to be in a caloric surplus for months. And this means that my body is going to be in an extremely good position to gain muscle. It's going to be super anabolic. Almost on a daily basis, I'm going to be in a caloric surplus. Many days, a large caloric surplus. And I'm going to do whatever it takes to, kind of torture my muscles all around my body, from my neck to my calves, so that as soon as, the body doesn't even have to wait. There is no as soon as. My body, I'm going to try to keep it in a constant state of somewhere in my body needs to be damaged and is going to need repair. Now, I haven't really trained push-pull legs like this 6 times a week, or in this case, legs push-pull 6 times a week. I've never done that. This is going to be one of the highest training volumes that I've ever held for a consistent period, and I just came out of basically a full year or a bit more of super low volume. So I don't really know what to expect in terms of tendons and everything, and joint pain and, just general fatigue. But I'm going to push through a serious level of general fatigue here. As long as my sleep is good and as long as my joints don't hurt, I'm going to push this bulk really hard. And a big part of my plan with this bulk is not only just to gain strength in my chest so that I can bench 140 and in my triceps and in my delts. I want to gain muscle everywhere. I want to hit 89 kilos, my previous heaviest ever weight, my previous heaviest body weight ever, rather. And I want to look drastically different than I did the last time I weighed that. I want to have heaps more muscle and I want to have significantly less fat at the same weight. The only way I'm going to make that happen is if I train extremely hard, if I gain strength and if I work on my weak points. So that was the point of today's workout. I did sternum pull-ups, I did inverted rows with a super wide grip and really flaring my elbows and hitting the bar to not my sternum, not my solar plexus, but to my collarbone. So, I was pulling this almost towards my neck and elbows super flared out wide. And the point with all of this in this workout basically is just to hit and smash that upper back, my weak point. My lats are so much more developed than my upper back. And as Arnold would say, the thickness of the back. I can't really... You need the width, but you need the thickness. Like, I can't... You guys know what I'm talking about. Most of you do, he's talking about like his blueprint for mass. Now, obviously, Arnold has a lot of shit advice, but some of it's great. And a big thing is, obviously you need the heavy rows and you need the rows in general, the horizontal pulls to, really just hit that upper back. You don't just want to hit the lats. And that's the thing, that's a problem. I've always had a lat focus in my back training. And it shows in my back development. I never really took rows seriously. So this is kind of step 1 of doing that. On my other back day here, I'm probably going to start with chin-ups and then do rows. At least that was the original plan. But yeah, we'll see kind of how this all ends up. But, I need to work my biceps as well. My biceps are also lagging, but I'm probably going to do that with curls. So the main focus of these pull workouts is going to be upper back, more so than lats. But I still need to hit a couple really hard sets a week for lats, like chin-ups, for example, or regular pull-ups, so that I know for sure that my lats are going to grow as well, because I really don't want to leave any stone unturned in this bulk. I mean, I'm going to get really heavy, and, once I hit 89, 90, 91, 92 kilos, I don't want to just at that point, start training everything. I want to train everything all the way up so that when I hit that weight, I'm not as fat as I would be otherwise, and I can kind of push further, get heavier, and get even more jacked. I mean, I'm going to do all the hard work in the beginning, the middle, and the end of the bulk. And, I'm starting hard. I'm kind of starting this marathon sprinting. So yeah, maybe I'm going to have to take a few rest days. Maybe I'm going to have to decrease the volume. But I'm going to start really hard here and see what my body's capable of. I'm not going to be doing any taekwondo. I'm going to be doing cardio once a week. And I'm not going to be doing any other training than this. So, I mean, yes, I will be training 7 days a week, 6 days in the gym. But I won't be doing any other physical training. I'll be in a huge caloric surplus and I'm getting great sleep. I mean, I go to bed at 10 o'clock every single night and I wake up without an alarm every single day. So right now I would say my sleep is close to optimal. And if you pair that with a big caloric surplus and extremely hard and extremely consistent training, I really believe that the level of muscle gain I'm going to have this year is probably going to be crazy. I mean, I'm going to throw everything but the kitchen sink at my body and, including having great sleep on a daily basis, having a really strict, consistent bedtime, which I almost never miss. Legit, exactly 10 o'clock every night, I lie down in my bed. I don't lie down at 21:59. I don't lie down at 22:01. I lie down at 22:00. Exactly 10 o'clock, I'm in bed. 1 hour before bed, I stop using my phone, so I have no blue light into my brain, which is going to keep me awake and spike cortisol and give me low melatonin. I don't eat that late in the day so that I can optimize my sleep. I believe this is even more important than pressing in extra calories. This is a current belief I hold. I may update it, but I think that if you can get your calories earlier in the day, you probably should, because if you eat your last meal multiple hours before you go to bed, you're going to have a lower resting heart rate as you fall asleep, you're going to have a lower body temperature as you fall asleep, and you're going to have a lower resting heart rate as you sleep. You're going to have higher quality sleep and you're probably going to recover better, even if you can't get quite as many calories in. So I'm not going to do late night snacks, even if I'm bulking now. I'm going to stick to a fairly healthy lifestyle. And when it comes to the sleep, I mean, that is an extremely important part of gaining muscle. And I always fuck up the sleep. But I know this time that it's an integral part of achieving the goal of putting an extreme amount of muscle on in very likely less than a year. I mean, I don't want to be bulking forever. I really do believe I'll be bulking into 2026, but I think it will be less than a year, hopefully. So, I'm going to be bulking pretty fast. And if I want to make the most of this, every single night's bad sleep, I don't know how big a hit that is on my, strength and muscle gains. But I would venture to guess that a 6 to 7 hour, so a fairly bad night's sleep for me, just completely guessing, might be the difference between gaining a bit of muscle that night and actually losing muscle or staying the same. That I believe. So, I think if I were to get 7 hours of sleep per night, on average, I can barely gain muscle at all. It's almost impossible, even in a caloric surplus. But if I'm in a big surplus and I'm consistently getting 8 to 9 hours of sleep, which I'm getting right now, I go to bed at 10. I usually wake up by myself around 6:30, although, I haven't been in the routine for more than 5 days, so it varies a lot. I've woken up between 4:58 a.m. and 7:50 a.m. So my sleep is not consistent yet in terms of waking up time, but I believe I need 8 to 9 hours of sleep to maximize progress, along with a consistent bedtime, which allows my body to kind of slow down and fall asleep quickly, and so that all the sleep cycles that I have And, everything related to sleep is kind of a routine, not only for you, but for your body. So a lot of people, myself included, a big mistake I've made basically my entire life is I've had an extremely inconsistent sleep schedule, which when I've looked into kind of surface level, the research, this seems to be extremely bad for your health. And anything that's extremely bad for your health is going to be extremely bad for your gains, because health and gains are very intimately intertwined. Now, not if you take anabolic steroids, because then you're going to get worse health and better muscle gains. But basically anything you do to gain more muscle, apart from huge caloric surpluses and anabolic steroids, which I'm going to take food, not steroids, this bulk. I'm just going to overeat, which is kind of a problem for health. But other than that, I'm going to live really healthy here, because being healthy and, kind of giving your body what it needs is how you're going to get really far in athletics and how you're going to get really far in strength. An unhealthy person, a person with cancer, a person who's obese, a person who's got heart problems, a person who's sick, just think of an unhealthy person, a person in an unhealthy state. That person is not going to be able to gain muscle as fast as a healthy person. So, a goal of the bulk as well is not just go off the rails completely into a sloppy lifestyle and, drink alcohol and go to bed whenever I want and eat a bunch of burgers at midnight. That's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to eat a lot of food, I'm going to sleep many hours, and I'm going to train extremely hard. And I'm going to keep doing my cardio. So, bulking is, I already feel it, like it feels so good to be able to eat, until you're satiated, because I haven't been doing that for months. But at the same time, bulking still requires a lot of discipline, especially in the training. I mean, when you're bulking, you're in the optimal position to gain muscle. You're putting yourself in a very anabolic position indeed when you're cramming food down and you're sleeping a lot. And if you're putting your body in that position and you're not training really hard, I don't know what the hell you're doing. You're just going to gain a bunch of fat. So guys, if you're on a bulk, don't be lazy. Don't waste your bulk. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to go super hard this bulk. And if anything, I want to start so hard that I have to actually let my foot off the gas a bit, because I'm overdoing it. That's how hard I want to push. So with that, I will see you guys tomorrow on leg day. Goodbye.